Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Metaphysics podcast. I'm Dennis.
And I'm Louise.
And we are so excited to be here with you today for another deep dive into
Fascinating concepts.
that might just shift your whole perspective.
You know, it's so easy to get caught up
Yeah.
in focusing on problems.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Right? It's like our brains are wired for it.
Exactly.
The news is full of it. We get into disagreements. Even just those little everyday annoyances, they can throw us off.
Yeah.
So where do we even begin to break free from that?
Well, the first step is recognizing that simply wanting a solution
Okay.
isn't always enough.
Right.
It's like wishing on a star. You need more than just a wish to make it come true.
Yeah.
We have to shift our vibration, our energy, to match what we want to create.
So it's not just about thinking positive thoughts.
No.
It's about actually embodying that positivity.
Exactly. If we're constantly dwelling on what's wrong, what we lack, what we're afraid of, then we're stuck in a vibration of lack. And that's what we end up attracting more of.
It's like we're telling the universe, hey, send me more of this problem.
Precisely. And here's where a common misconception trips people up. We often think that for us to win, someone else has to lose. It creates this scarcity mindset, like there's only so much good to go around.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
It's like that old saying, you can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs. But does someone always have to lose out for us to get what we want?
That's the limiting belief we need to break free from. Think of it like this. Instead of arguing over slices of a small pie, what if we baked more pies, even bigger ones? That's abundance.
So instead of focusing on what we don't have,
Yeah.
we shift our energy towards creating more of what we want.
Yes. And the universe is actually conspiring with us to make that happen.
Okay.
It's full of unlimited potential, and our job is to align ourselves with that potential.
That's a much more empowering way to look at it. But I imagine some of our listeners might be thinking, hold on, if it's that simple, why is there still so much suffering and chaos in the world? What would you say to them?
That's a great question, and it brings us to a really crucial point. Individual power.
Right.
While we might not be able to single-handedly solve all the world's problems, we absolutely have the power to choose our own inner state regardless of what's happening around us.
So even in the midst of chaos, we can still find peace and joy within ourselves.
Absolutely. And that inner peace radiates outward. It affects those around us, and it contributes to a higher vibration for everyone. Think of it like a ripple effect. One person choosing happiness can inspire others to do the same.
That's a beautiful thought. It's like we're all interconnected and our individual choices matter more than we realize. But I know some people get frustrated with the slow pace of change. What do you say to those who feel like the world just isn't evolving fast enough?
I understand that frustration.
Yeah.
But here's something to consider. Consciousness is constantly evolving. With each new generation, there's a shift towards greater awareness, compassion, and a desire for a better world.
Okay.
It might not always be obvious or immediate, but the undercurrent is there.
So even though things might seem bleak at times, there's reason to be hopeful about the future.
Absolutely. Now, this brings us to a really fascinating concept. You create your own reality.
Ooh.
And before you dismiss this as just another feel-good affirmation, let's really unpack what it means.
Okay. I'm intrigued. I've heard that phrase before, but I'm not sure I fully grasp its implications.
It's about understanding that our vibrational frequency, our energy, determines what we experience. If we're constantly focusing on lack, negativity, and fear, we're literally attracting more of those things into our lives.
So if I'm constantly worrying about money, I'm actually creating more financial stress for myself.
You're essentially tuning your radio dial to the station of financial worry, and that's the broadcast you're going to receive.
Wow.
But if you shift your focus to what you want, abundance, joy, love, you start tuning into a different frequency altogether.
So it's about consciously choosing what we want to experience rather than letting our fears and doubts dictate our reality.
Exactly.
I know what you're thinking.
What's that?
If it's that easy, why do so many people still struggle to manifest what they want?
Right.
Well, it often comes down to this. Are we truly believing it's possible?
So it's not just about saying we want something, it's about aligning our beliefs with that desire.
You got it. And that's where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
Because our beliefs shape our perception of reality. Think about it. two people can witness the same event and have completely different interpretations of what happened.
Oh, absolutely. It's like those optical illusions where one person sees a rabbit and another sees a duck. Same image, different perceptions.
That's a perfect analogy.
Yeah.
And it highlights a crucial point.
Right.
We all experience reality through a filter of our own beliefs and past experiences.
Okay.
So trying to force others to see things our way is often futile.
It's like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole.
Exactly.
Yeah. And here's the beautiful thing. When we let go of that need to control other people's perceptions, we experience so much more freedom. We can focus on our own journey and allow others to do the same.
That's a powerful reminder. It's so easy to get caught up in trying to convince others that we're right.
Yeah.
But ultimately, everyone creates their own reality.
And that brings us to a concept that's often talked about in metaphysics, the vortex.
Okay, I'm ready to dive into this vortex. What is it all about?
The vortex is a vibrational reality where everything we desire already exists in a completed state. It's like a cosmic library where all the books of our dreams are waiting to be checked out.
So it's not about creating something from scratch. It's about aligning ourselves with what already exists in this vortex.
You got it. And this is where our focus comes full circle.
Okay.
Do you remember those good piles and bad piles we talked about earlier?
Right, like categorizing things as positive or negative things that bring us joy versus things that cause us stress.
The vortex is all about aligning ourselves with those good piles, those things that make us feel good, those things that we truly desire. But here's the catch. If we're constantly dwelling on the bad piles, we're actually pushing ourselves away from the vortex.
So it's like we're trying to drive to this amazing destination, but we keep taking detours into dead-end streets because we're so focused on avoiding the bad piles that we miss the signs pointing us towards the good piles.
That's a great way to put it. We have to shift our focus to what we want to dwell on those good piles because that's what will ultimately lead us to the vortex, to the manifestation of our desires.
This is all so fascinating.
Yeah.
I feel like we've just scratched the surface of some really deep concepts.
We certainly have. And you know what? We'd love to hear from you, our listeners.
Absolutely.
What are some of the bad piles you've noticed yourself clinging to? How can you shift your focus to the good piles that are calling to you? Share your thoughts in the comments below.
And while you're at it, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Metaphysics Podcast so you don't miss out on any future deep dives. We'll be back with more mind-expanding exploration soon.
It's amazing to think that all of our desires already exist within this vortex, just waiting for us to align with them.
It is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
But aligning ourselves with a vortex sounds like a pretty big task. How do we even begin to bridge that gap between where we are now and the reality we want to experience?
It all comes down to mastering our vibration.
Okay.
Think of it like this. The vortex is humming at a certain frequency.
Okay.
And to enter it, we need to match that frequency.
Okay. I can see how that analogy works. So if I want to attract more abundance into my life, for instance, how do I shift my vibration to match the abundance frequency of the vortex?
That's where the real work begins. We have to become aware of and then release any limiting beliefs that are holding us back.
Okay.
If you're walking around thinking, I'll never be rich, or money is the root of all evil,
Right.
you're essentially blocking the flow of abundance from entering your experience.
So it's like those beliefs are acting as a barrier, preventing us from receiving the abundance that's already out there waiting for us. But if many of these beliefs are unconscious, how can we even begin to identify them, let alone release them?
That's where self-awareness comes in. Start paying attention to the thoughts and feelings that arise when you think about the area of your life where you desire change. For example, if you want to manifest more love, ask yourself, what comes up for me when I think about being in a loving relationship? What stories am I telling myself about love? Are they empowering or limiting?
I bet a lot of people would be surprised by the answers that surface when they really start paying attention to their inner dialogue. But once we've identified those limiting beliefs, what's the next step?
It's time to challenge and reframe those beliefs. Let's say you have the belief, I'm not good enough to be loved.
Okay.
Ask yourself, is that really true? What evidence do I have to support that belief? And then start replacing that belief with a more empowering one, such as, I am worthy of love and I am open to receiving it.
So we replace those old limiting stories with new empowering ones that align with what we want to experience. But it's not just about reciting affirmations, is it?
Affirmations can be helpful, but they're most effective when combined with genuine belief.
Okay.
It's like planting a seed in the ground. The affirmation is the seed, but it needs fertile soil belief to take root and grow.
So it's not just about thinking positive thoughts, it's about feeling the truth of those thoughts in our hearts.
Exactly. And that's when inspired action comes in.
Hmm.
The universe responds to our alignment. When we take steps that are aligned with our desires, even small ones,
Okay.
we're demonstrating our commitment to creating the reality we want.
It's like we're sending a signal to the universe. Hey, I'm serious about this. I'm not just wishing for it. I'm taking action towards it.
Precisely. And as you take those actions, pay attention to the synchronicities that start showing up. Those are signs from the universe that you're on the right track.
It's like the universe is saying, I see you. Keep going.
Exactly. Now, this might sound like a lot of responsibility, and it is, but it's also incredibly empowering.
Right.
We're not just passive victims of circumstance. We have the power to choose our thoughts, beliefs, and actions. And in doing so, we shape our reality.
That's a radical idea, isn't it? That we're actually co-creating our reality with the universe.
It is.
Yeah. But it raises a pretty big question. If we have that much power, what does that mean for all the problems and conflicts we see in the world? Are we collectively creating those as well?
That's a profound question, and one that has been pondered by philosophers and spiritual seekers for centuries. If we follow the logic of you create your own reality, then it stands to reason that on some level we are all contributing to the collective reality we experience.
So we're not just responsible for our own individual realities. We're also contributing to the larger tapestry of human experience.
Exactly, and that can feel overwhelming at first. It's easy to fall into blame and judgment, pointing fingers at others for creating the mess we're in, but the most empowering approach is to focus on our own vibration and what we're contributing to the collective consciousness.
So instead of trying to fix the world, we focus on fixing ourselves, on raising our own vibration, and trusting that this will have a positive ripple effect.
You got it. And here's something fascinating to consider. As more and more individuals raise their vibration, the collective consciousness naturally shifts towards greater harmony and well-being.
It's like that saying, be the change you wish to see in the world.
Exactly. Each of us has the power to be a beacon of light, radiating positivity and love into the world. And when enough of us do that, the collective energy shifts.
This is all so inspiring. It reminds us that even though we might not see immediate sweeping changes in the world, our individual inner work is making a difference.
Absolutely. And that's why it's so important to prioritize our own well-being, to cultivate joy, peace, and love within ourselves, because that's the frequency we're broadcasting out into the world. And speaking of prioritizing our well-being, I think it's time for us to dive into the importance of community and support. What do you think?
I couldn't agree more. We're not meant to navigate this journey of conscious creation alone. We need each other. We need those connections, those shared experiences, to remind us that we're not alone in this. We were just talking about how important it is to have a supportive community as we navigate this journey of conscious creation.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so easy to feel isolated when we're trying to shift our beliefs and create a new reality for ourselves.
It's true. Having a community of like-minded individuals can make all the difference. It provides a space to share our experiences, challenges, and triumphs without judgment.
Absolutely. And it reminds us that we're not alone in this.
Yeah.
We're all in this together, learning and growing and supporting each other along the way.
And, speaking of support, one of the biggest hurdles we often face on this path is that ingrained belief that for us to succeed, someone else has to fail.
Yes. The classic scarcity mindset. It's like we're constantly competing for a limited supply of resources, whether it's money, recognition, or even love.
Exactly. And this scarcity mentality is so pervasive in our society. We see it everywhere in politics and business, even in our personal relationships.
It's like we've been conditioned to believe that there's only so much pie to go around. And if someone gets a bigger slice, it means there's less for everyone else.
But here's the thing. That's simply not true.
Yeah.
The universe operates from a place of abundance, not scarcity.
Oh.
There's enough for everyone.
That's such a powerful shift in perspective.
It is.
But how do we break free from that scarcity mindset when it feels so deeply ingrained in our culture?
It starts with awareness. Notice those thoughts that pop up, like, if they get that promotion, it means I won't, or there's not enough money for everyone to be wealthy.
So the first step is to simply become aware of those limiting beliefs without judgment. But what do we do once we've identified them?
Then we can start to challenge those beliefs. Ask yourself, is it really true that there's only so much to go around? What if instead of competing, we collaborated? What if we focused on creating more, expanding the possibilities for everyone?
That reminds me of the expanding pie analogy we talked about earlier. Instead of fighting over a limited number of slices, we can bake more pies. bigger pies, ensuring everyone gets a piece.
Exactly. And that's where the power of co-creation comes in. When we release that fear-based scarcity mindset and embrace a spirit of collaboration and abundance, we can achieve so much more together.
It's like that saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Beautifully put. When we come together with a shared vision and a belief in unlimited potential, we can create truly extraordinary things.
It's not about competition, it's about cooperation. It's about recognizing that we're all in this together, and our individual successes contribute to the collective good.
You said it. We are all interconnected. We are all part of the same universal tapestry.
This has been an incredible deep dive. We've explored the power of focus, the importance of community, the concept of abundance, and so much more.
It has.
I feel like our listeners are walking away with a lot to ponder.
Me too.
So as we wrap up this episode of the Metaphysics podcast,
Okay.
what is one key takeaway you want our listeners to remember?
Remember this. You are a powerful creator of your own reality. Your thoughts, beliefs, and actions shape your experience. Choose to focus on what you want, believe in the power of abundance, and trust in the unfolding of your journey.
Those are wise words. And listeners, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. We love hearing from you. Until next time, keep diving deep into the mysteries of the universe. And remember, you are capable of creating a reality beyond your wildest dreams.
And we'll see you on our next deep dive.
Take care.